Catherine Hahn's Agatha Harkness was, of course, a standout from WandaVision, so of course it should be no surprise that she is getting her own spin-off on Disney Plus with Agatha House of Harkness. This series was announced back on Disney Plus Day last year, and so far we haven't had many details about this series, except, Catherine Hahn is returning. It's going to be about Agatha Harkness, and they're going to start shooting next year. So it is still a year or two away, so it makes sense that we haven't heard much about it. But today we do have a new report from Daniel RPK, of course, one of our most trusted sources, who is saying that, in fact, Billy Maximoff will be appearing in this series. And he's actually going to be having a fairly large role, which, of course, this makes sense that Billy will be showing up because, with Agatha's connection to the kids and Wanda and everything that went down in WandaVision, I mean, first of all, that makes sense there, but also because in the comics, Agatha actually was the babysitter of Billy and Tommy. And we'll talk about Tommy a little bit later, but it makes sense specifically for Billy because he is the one that actually has the magic-based powers. Tommy, he's the speedster, so he's the Quicksilver side of the equation. But Billy, he's the one that could actually even be trained by Agatha Harkness, especially after, Wanda's apparent death in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, although I highly doubt she's actually dead. Might even come back for this series specifically. But it just makes sense that this could actually see the return of Billy. And actually, that actually gets me thinking, like, how would we even see the return of Billy? Because he is not real in the MCU 616 Earth, so would it be from the real, from the 838 Earth, or would it be maybe Agatha casts a spell that actually creates the real Billy in this universe? And maybe we won't even see kid Billy, maybe we'll actually be grown-up adult Billy, because of course in the comics, that's what happens, Billy and Tommy, they're the kids, and then they disappear, and then they're reincarnated as teenagers, and that is when they join the Young Avengers as Wiccan and Speed. Now, this is where we kind of think things are going. We know the Young Avengers are being set up in the MCU, so it makes full sense that we're going to see Billy and Tommy transform into their teenage selves, and this could be what happens in this series. Maybe Billy is reincarnated as a teenager, and he is put under the care of Agatha Harkness, and this reincarnated version of the character, just like in the comics, has no idea who his real mother is, so maybe Agatha is just going along with that story and is just like, oh, I'm your mother, I'm going to take care of you, and they could be doing something similar to that. I think that could be definitely a lot of fun and would be really cool, especially with her training him. That would be really awesome, and to set up the Young Avengers in that way, specifically with Billy, because he's always been the more popular one anyway, but again, it kind of begs the question, like, what about Tommy? Like, is Tommy just going to not be there? Well, at this point in time in the comics, when they're first reincarnated, I believe he's actually in juvie. So, I mean, they could just explain it like that. I mean, in WandaVision, he did like stealing things. So, they could have that explanation. And maybe we'll see him just pop up somewhere else down the line. Maybe he won't even return again until the Young Avengers project. And he just shows up and, hey, it's a speedster and he's a teenager. And, whoa, you're my twin? And our mom is the Scarlet Witch. And it could be, the big revelation and mystery unraveling like it did in the comics. So that could be really cool and definitely a lot of fun to be had with this. But I'm excited for this. I'm excited to see Billy age up and have his transformation into Wiccan that we know from the comics, specifically in this Agatha House of Harkness series, because I'm excited to see Catherine Hahn return as the character. I loved her in WandaVision, so I'm excited to see her take on the leading role here and possibly even train our young Billy into becoming Wiccan. That's something I'm really excited to see. But for now, guys, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. What do you think about news that Billy Maximoff or Billy Kaplan, depending on if it's the reincarnated version or the Wanda made-up version, will be appearing in the Marvel Studios Agatha House of Harkness series? And what kind of role do you think he's going to play? Why do you think Tommy will not be here? Maybe he will, and Daniel RPK just didn't mention it, but why specifically Billy? So, anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and hit the subscribe button so I can keep it up to date on everything goes on in the Marvel life.